Hello, Night Nation. Trace Trocco joined by Adam Eaton and special Sons of UCF guest Robert Aronoff. Day 2 of Big 12 Media Days here in Las Vegas. A day in which UCF was featured, guys, but began with Colorado head coach Deion Sanders and a reference, Adam, to head coach Gus Malzahn of the Knights.
Listen, if we learned anything today, Trace, you never know what to expect when Deion Sanders has a microphone in front of his face. And right off the top of his speech today, a mention of Gus Malzahn and their past history and how much he enjoyed Gus and, you know, their camaraderie for each other, which is something I don't think a lot of us really knew about. So as always, Coach Prime keeps us on our toes here.
And that was a question asked of Coach Prime, and you were part of that media scrum afterwards.
Yes, indeed. I asked Coach Sanders a couple of questions, and there was definitely some development on his answer about his relationship with Coach Malzahn, and it started with his son.
And we began the day with one-on-one with head coach Gus Malzahn and players. You had an opportunity, Adam, to speak with Kobe Hudson in the breakout session, and he talked about his relationship with Coach Malzahn.
Yeah, it's no secret. We need Kobe Hudson to really be a key player for UCF this year. But what I thought was interesting, Trace, he talked a lot about how he's grown in his time in Orlando. Now he's a real leader on this team. Now, I think that's really interesting. But also talked a lot about the theme of today, which was praise for Gus Malzahn, something we don't do enough around here.
Let's hear that sound from day 2 of Media Days here in Las Vegas.
Coach, you talked about Gus and your relationship with Gus Malzahn.
He's awesome.
What makes him special? And I know he actually offered.
He's honest. He keeps it 100. When we went there on a recruiting trip, I've never seen a coach do this. He had another kid there was like a 5-star quarterback, and he said, "All right, let's see what y'all got." He took Shedeur on the backfield with some receivers and that quarterback, and they went at it, throw for throw. You know how it turned out. But who does that? Besides the coach that want to know the truth. He kept it a buck with us the whole time, man. I just love his style. I love his tenacity. I love his endurance. I love what he stands for, and I'm good with him, man. I forever support him.
Are you looking forward to that opportunity to go down to Orlando and return to Florida again?
Yeah, most definitely. We have, I think, close to 20 or more Floridians on our team. So, and I'm from Florida, so we got a few staffers from Florida. So I welcome that moment that we get opportunity. And I guarantee you that'll probably be the most requests from high school players that week that I guarantee they ever have. I'll make sure that. I will make sure that. But he's phenomenal, man. I love him.
All right, Shedeur, earlier we heard your dad talk a little bit about his relationship with Gus Malzahn, and he mentioned you all had a good relationship as well. What's your relationship like with Gus Malzahn, Coach Malzahn?
Coach, I feel like he definitely believed in me when I went to go visit him when he was at Auburn. He was another kid that was like a high-ranked kid, and he took us on the grass and he was like, all right, we just gonna prove it. Y'all gonna prove who y'all are. So at that time, that was when I was camp chasing, getting offers and visiting all these different schools before it was really popular like that. And then I still got the video on my Instagram, I think. Maybe, I'm not sure though. But anyways, yeah, I visited him. He put us on the grass. We in there throw for throw. Like he out there making you compete, making you grind, making you do it. Then after that, it was clearly who was the better guy. But that's even before I even got polished up and been able to really get trained a little bit. So that's it.
All right, Coach, this year UCF Knights come to your place. You guys had a tough game with them last year. What do you expect out of Gus Malzahn on that team this year?
Well, I have high level of respect for Gus and what he's done throughout his career, really at every stop from high school all the way to UCF. And so they're always one of the toughest offenses to defend. He's innovative, changes year to year. KJ Jefferson, I think, is going to be a real impact player for them. They're talented. They got a great 1-2 punch at running back, really talented receiver. And their offensive line, Herb Hand does a great job coaching those guys, so I really believe they'll make a significant improvement as well. And then defensively, bringing in Ted Roof, they got a lot of guys back, some good linebackers, brought in a couple good transfers. I really think they're kind of a dark horse in our league.
Kobe, you mentioned your third year at UCF. How have you grown since you got to Orlando?
If you know, to know me is to know life, real life. Me this year compared to me my freshman year is just like day and night. I came a long way. I've been through a lot. Coach Malzahn helped me a lot. He mentored me. He never let me get away with anything, so he always disciplined me every time I did anything that was out of order, anything, and it's an honor just for him to pick me, just knowing what I've been doing, knowing how many things I've been doing in life. It's just a blessing.
Yeah, I mean, I've been an admirer of Gus Malzahn as a coach and things that he's done in his career. So I got to know him quite a bit in the last few years.
It's a little. It's definitely a change, hearing around that
Really
and
good
talking
golfer,
to me, but I love it. It's
what a great person, and enjoy my friendship with him and our camaraderie that we have. I've been really impressed with this team and watching them play. I mean, it makes sense that he gets to play at a high level. So
I'd say we're more downhill,
they have
way more aggressive.
Florida. I mean, my wife's from Central Florida, so I know exactly the type of talent that comes from that area.
Do you think you're ready to stop a running attack like that?
Yeah, I mean, I think I'm ready. I think I'm ready for a really. Not too worried about. I'm not gonna worry about one player. I'm not that type of guy. I don't fear nobody. But no, I know those are good players, and I gotta prepare well for them. Same way I prepare for everybody else.
So that's the sound and reaction, some of it at least, from day 2 here at Media Days. What are your observations?
Yeah, I thought it was interesting. Coaches had a really high praise level for Gus Malzahn. Neal Brown told me that he thought this could be a sleeper team that people aren't talking enough about here. So while maybe, middle of the pack in terms of what coaches think, a lot of praise for Gus Malzahn, a lot of praise for what this offense can be, Trace. And so maybe it's not factoring in yet just, in the rankings and statistics, but a lot of folks have UCF high on their list.
What about you, Robert?
Yeah, I think that's a good reflection of what happened today. I think that while today was kind of Deion central from the beginning when we started talking about today, because of him setting the tone, we're talking about Gus from the very beginning. A lot of other people followed suit and were talking about Gus. I think this team, if we stay healthy, if this team really does what we expect them to do, we could be contending at the end.
Our coverage of Big 12 Media Days doesn't end here on day 2. Again, we began the session on Wednesday with a one-on-one interview with head coach Gus Malzahn, and then interviews with each of the players. And what are your observations of those conversations?
Yeah, really enjoyed talking to the guys. Again, I think they're really fired up about this year. I think the theme we took away is how much they're taking motivation out of RJ Harvey being sort of snubbed in the national conversation from a running back perspective. And I talked to KJ today about his thoughts on where he stands. Also some motivation there. So I think what you've got, Trace, is a motivated Knights team who's taking some of these slights, real or perceived, as chips on the shoulder. Hopefully they bring him into the season this year.
Same sentiment you heard during your one-on-ones?
Yeah, when talking with the players, I got a really good sense that they are motivated by what's happening outside of the team, but also that they're focusing on what they need to do within their jobs on the team in order to be successful. They're focusing on themselves, and I think that could mean good things.
We have various travels back on Thursday, so we're going to put together all of this sound, bring it to you in the Sons of UCF Live time slot, dropping Thursday at 8. For Adam Eaton, Robert Aronoff, I'm Trace Trolko. Go Knights!
Charge on!